The mess hall aboard the deep-range freighter Orion's Drift hummed with the low thrum of recycled air and subdued chatter. Crew members from a dozen species sat in clusters, eating nutrient paste or sipping synth tea, their conversations laced with the weariness of months spent between stars. At one corner table, a human sat alone, methodically stirring his drink with a metal spoon. His name was Eli, and he had learned long ago that solitude was safer than conversation on ships like this. He kept his eyes down, focused on the swirls in his cup. Around him, voices rose in fell gruff baritones from armored reptilians, chittering tones from insectoid traders, the soft clicks of avian navigators. But one presence silenced them all. She entered without fanfare, yet every head turned. Tall and slender, her skin held the faint shimmer of polished obsidian under the overhead lights. Her eyes, large and luminous, glowed a pale violet, unblinking as they scanned the room. Long silver hair cascaded past her shoulders, untouched by gravity or style. She wore a simple dark tunic, but it did nothing to mask the quiet intensity that radiated from her. Whispers followed in her wake. "Don't make eye contact. She's one of the Veil. They say she drinks memories, not blood." Last guy who sat near her forgot his own name for 3 cycles. Eli had heard the rumors. The Veil were an ancient species, rarely seen beyond their cloistered enclaves. They fed not on flesh or plasma, but on neural imprints, fragments of thought, emotion, experience. Harmless, technically. No laws forbade their presence, but fear clung to them like static. And yet, when she moved through the aisles, scanning for a seat, every table subtly shifted, chairs pulled in, trays adjusted, bodies angled away. Only Eli's table remained open. He didn't look up. He didn't want to be noticed, but she stopped. A shadow fell across his tray. He froze, spoon halfway to his lips. Then, without a word, she sat across from him. Silence crashed over the mess hall like a wave. Conversations died. Forks hovered midair. Even the ambient hum of the ship seemed to hush. Eli finally looked up. Her violet eyes met his, not piercing, not predatory, but curious. Calm. There was no hunger in them. Only something quieter, loneliness. "You don't fear me," she said. Her voice was soft, melodic, layered with harmonics that resonated just below hearing. "I don't know you," Eli replied simply. A flicker of something crossed her face, surprise perhaps, or relief. She placed her hands flat on the table, palms down. "Most assume I will take something from them. A memory, a dream, a secret, would you?" "Only if offered." He studied her. No fangs, no claws, no visible signs of menace. Just a being who carried the weight of myth on her shoulders. "Then I guess I'm safe," he said, returning to his drink. She tilted her head. "Why are you alone?" "Same reason you are," he said, without thinking, then regretted it. But she smiled, small, fragile thing. "Ah, you see me. No one else does. They see a story, a warning, not a person." She nodded slowly. "You speak plainly. That is rare." "I've got nothing to hide," he said. "Not out here." For a while they sat in silence, but it wasn't uncomfortable. Outside the viewport, stars streaked past in silent procession. The ship groaned softly as it adjusted course. Finally, she spoke again. "My kind do not feed on fear. We feed on connection, on shared moments, but few are willing to share. So you go hungry often." Eli pushed his tray aside. "What's your name?" She hesitated. "Names among my people are intimate. To speak one is to invite resonance." "And don't tell me," he said. "But sit with me again tomorrow." She blinked once. "You would allow that?" "I'd prefer it," he admitted. "I've been talking to myself for 6 months. Getting tired of the company." A genuine laugh escaped her light, almost musical. It drew stares, but she didn't care. Neither did he. The next day she returned, and the next. They never touched. Never exchanged names. But they talked about nebulae, about old Earth songs, about the ache of missing a home you couldn't return to. She told him of her world, where oceans glowed with bioluminescent tides and cities grew from living crystal. He told her of rainy afternoons on Mars Colony 7, of fixing engines with his father, of the smell of real coffee before rationing began. She listened, truly listened. Not to extract, but to understand. One evening, as the ship drifted through a quiet sector, she leaned forward slightly. "May I?" she asked. "May you what?" "Share a moment." "Not take, share." He frowned. "How?" "Close your eyes." He did it first. Nothing. Then a warmth, like sunlight through closed lids. A scent of ozone and blooming night flowers. A feeling of soaring over endless dunes beneath twin moons. Joy, pure and unburdened. It lasted only seconds. But when he opened his eyes, his cheeks were wet. "What was that?" he whispered. "A memory of flight," she said. "From my youth. I gave it to you."